Coming up, traditional weapons. From blowguns to atlatls, Cherokee National Treasure Perry Vanbuskirk passes on the knowledge and weaponry of our ancestors. Plus, he's a teenager with an unusual set of hobbies and a bright future.
Most people, when I tell them I'm 16 and doing blacksmithing and building furnaces in the garage and doing machining and stuff, they usually don't say much, honestly. And to me, that's just normal. I just go out and build things.
And the Cherokee National Youth Choir.
We are ambassadors for the Cherokee Nation, sharing our culture and our language. We sing all in Cherokee.
What led choir director Kay Henderson to lead the group, and why the choir is so important to the future of the tribe.
The Cherokees.
A thriving American Indian tribe.
Our history.
Our culture.
Our people.
Our future.
The principles of a historic nation.
Sewn into the fabric of a modern world.
Hundreds of thousands strong.
Learning. Growing.
Succeeding.
And steadfast.
In the past, we have persevered through struggle.
But the future is ours to write.
Osiyo.
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 These are the voices of the Cherokee people.
Osiyo, I'm Principal Chief Bill John Baker. Welcome to the Cherokee Nation and OsiyoTV. This is how we share our culture, our heritage, our history, and our language with you. Wodo.
Osiyo, it's how we say hello in Cherokee. I'm your host, Jennifer Lauren, at the Hunter's Home in Park Hill, Oklahoma. It's a historic farm and living history museum set in the 1850s. We'll have more from here a little later, but first, Perry Vanbuskirk is a traditional weapons expert. He's made it his life's mission to learn as much as he can about the old Cherokee ways, our traditions, and our tools. And part of his mission is to pass that knowledge on.
Growing up, my aunts and uncles made bows, flint and that, made basketry and everything. I went and talked to my uncle, and he was chipping, making arrowheads. I said, I'd like to learn how to do that. And, you know, he never even stopped. He just kept chipping like he never even heard me. So real lightly, you know, gently, he laid everything down. And he said, why should I teach you? And I said, well, I just think it's fascinating. And I said, you know, that's kind of part of who we are. And, you know, and that's what I would like to learn, you know. And he said, okay. He said, well, but it'll cost you. He said, if I teach you, in return, he said, you have to teach someone else. So that's the way I have lived my whole life. My name is Perry Vanbuskirk, and I originally came from Rocky Ford. I have spent my life learning about Native American weapons, Cherokee culture, history, and actually how traditions was made within the Cherokees. But I actually got my National Treasure in 2004, which was for bow making. And I just kind of carried the legacy on through all these years until now. The simplicity of all of these weapons and everything that we had, but they're still so effective even nowadays that, you know, it just amazes me. The elders is the ones that taught me. I got to analyze it from all aspects. From my aspect of the elders and all, is like, what would they be thinking? What would they be doing? How would they use this? That's how I kind of base everything. Even when I'm sitting there working on something, I'm sitting there thinking, Maybe part of my ancestors was sitting here doing this very same thing, you know. I started with flint knapping. Somewhere or another, someone figured out that could actually build a device to throw these spears, and that was actually the birth of what we call the atlatl. And then the bow and arrow. Going to show you a few of the things that I've done. And well, first time people come here and they start scanning everything around, they start looking and thinking, I wonder what that is. The war clubs and stuff, they was actually made, as we say, in different manners to do one thing and one thing only. That was to kill. So when I pick it up and I start, it's just like, I'll just start one end of it, and next thing I know, when I get to the other end, I have to look at it myself. You know, my wife, she is a basket maker. Kathy, like I said, she got her National Treasure Award the same time I did. We was actually the second husband and wife that actually ever received the National Treasure in the same year together. Hey, boy, come here. If my family's carrying it on, then I need to carry it on, because this was a deal that was made to me. Tell them hi. All material things, everything can go away. But you know, my children and grandchildren is everything to me. Now I've got my grandkids right here next to me. A lot of this stuff that I make, like the blowguns, the rock slingers, this and that, we'll get out here and we compete all the time, which it teaches them to become good and accurate at it, because in their mind is they want to beat Pawpaw. It's teaching them a skill that they won't ever forget. This is my whole world right here. These kids have been taught all of this stuff. They pretty well know how to do it too. We're gonna throw this away 7,500 yards over there. Hopefully this ball will hit. So here we go.
Way in that field. It's way out there. Okay, it's right.
That's probably close to 100 yards right there. So when I make something, I mean, I involve all my family. I mean, and when I figure something out and get it, it's almost like I've got that excitement as these kids would. It's like I can't wait to run in. I'll tell my wife, you gotta come out and see this. You gotta come out and watch this. You know, and the family, and then these girls will come over. Tell them, you gotta come over here, I gotta show you something. Boy, they come over here and they're like, wow, wow. So, and next thing you know, then we're all out here doing it. Most people nowadays can relate to these, as we'll say, blowguns, because most people have seen them. The white that you see on the end of that, that's the down of the thistle, Scottish thistle. The oldest girl, Leah, with a blowgun, she can probably outshoot the rest of them, you know, maybe even outshoot me. We were showing her, you know, how to hunt with the blowgun, so I took her out. And we just went right here behind us, and there was rabbits, you know, and I'd sneak up through there, you know, and then I'd motion her, and here she'd come, you know, she'd sneak, teaching her how to sneak up on them. And, you know, by the time we got up there in shooting range, I looked down, and she'd actually kicked her shoes off. Pawpaw, she said, I figured out as I was coming up through there, if I kicked my shoes off, I could walk quieter. She said, I can walk softer and quieter. She said, so they won't hear me. That kind of excited and amazed me that, you know, she done that, you know, thought of that. I want to know everything that I possibly could about who we are, where we came from, the story behind Cherokees. If I learn it, then pass it on to someone else, because that's the way we keep this alive, and you know, we keep this, as we'll say, going as long as we're going to be here on this earth.
Brendan Crotty found his calling at age 9 at a Civil War battle reenactment. Now a teenager, Brendan has turned his initial interest in blacksmithing into what's sure to be a promising future in science and engineering.
A lot of people don't even think about how things are made in their life. They look at something and think, okay, cool, I'll just use that object. But then they don't think, that took a lot of time to make that. That took, hundreds of years of developments and, make that and work on that and design the machines to build that and the people involved in that. You walk around with change in your pocket. Do you know how many factories and people it took to design that coin? Thousands of people and machines and entire warehouses and factory to make a penny. That's one thing people don't think about, is how much goes into everything and how much we take for granted what we've got. I'm Brendan Crotty. I'm 16 years old, and I do blacksmithing and metalworking. My ideal day of just enjoyment and relaxing would be going out and building something. Take some crazy, say, okay, that looks like a crazy idea, and you just go out and build it. That would be fun for me. It's just piddling, taking something apart, fixing something, building something. There's always something new coming out. There's always something new being discovered, something new being worked on. So right now I'm making the mounting bracket out of plastic, and this is UHMW, ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. And actually the entire electronics enclosure I'm building is plastic. The sub panel's plastic, the enclosure's plastic, and the mounting brackets are plastic. So everything in it is completely electrically isolated. I have a large shop at home that's mainly all of my other tools. So I've got welding equipment and then actually a small machine shop at home. So that I can go out in the summer or the winter or whatever and work on projects late at night or whatever I need to do. And that's where I rebuild a lot of my equipment too. I went to a reenactment. It was actually at the Honey Springs battlefield one weekend just to kind of, have fun. And there was actually a couple blacksmiths there. And I ended up talking to him for about 3 hours, just sitting and watching and watching and watching. And my parents were, let's go. And so I just decided I wanted to do that. It looked like so much fun. Just took off from there. I got tools and got my own shop and went to every single meeting. I was doing blacksmithing every single week. Well, since I'm homeschooled, I spend all my free time doing metalworking. So about twice a year, I do historical reenactments here at the Hunter's Home in Park Hill, Oklahoma. And of course, I'll bring all of my tools and equipment. I have actually a small tent to kind of protect me from the sun. And then I'll just sit and demonstrate for 2 to 3 days. And usually I'll do repair items when I'm here because that's what the blacksmith would have done, at least on this site. It's like being a blacksmith in the Civil War era for a couple of days. The reaction is usually, how old are you? That's the first question they ask. And then beyond that, they just sit and watch and ask tons of questions. What are you doing? What would the blacksmith have made? What all do you make here? Usually I'll get hundreds of questions, hundreds and hundreds. And it's really interesting just seeing the kind of questions you get. I'm aware that I'm a little unusual. I've had a lot of people say, okay, that's about their response when I say something. So it is odd. Most people, when I tell them I'm 16 and doing blacksmithing and building furnaces in the garage and doing machining and stuff, they usually don't say much, honestly. And to me, that's just normal. I just go out and build things. It is very physically tiresome. Usually whenever I do the reenactments, after 3 days, you can't even feel your arms. Usually you get it's very tiring and you get lots of blisters and lots of burns. I do science fair. That's one of the really main things in my life. This is a small single piston compressed air powered engine I built completely from scratch. I designed and basically kind of just built it as I went as far as making every part fit together, but built the base from scratch, the engine itself, the entire control panel, electronics, everything. I got from manufacturing things to then designing and building things. So I started out building small furnaces, like forges, which you would use in blacksmithing, but gas fueled. So actually all of my science fair projects are actually based on large furnaces, industrial burner systems. Yeah, I've done fairly well in science fair. I've won the entire regional competition 2 years in a row now, and then before that I won like the junior level, and then I actually went to a national competition in Washington, D.C. and placed first in engineering. I mean, honestly, I don't look at things the way if I want to use that. I look at it and think I want to build that. I want to build something better. And I don't really play video games or anything like that. I spend all of my time out in the garage building stuff, just trying to learn new things, learn new techniques, and learn and learn and learn, because that's really how everything happens. Because I want to be the person who, designs things that have never been thought of before, taking something and making it 10 times better than it ever was.
Gold found. It was June 22, 1850. John Lowry Brown, a Cherokee Nation citizen, was the first to document in his journal the discovery of gold in what is now Colorado. Brown was one of many Cherokees swept up in the California gold fever of the mid-19th century. But it was in present-day Colorado, not California, where a man in Brown's group of gold seekers from the Cherokee Nation discovered glittering nuggets. More than a year before this legendary discovery, news circulated throughout the continent about the legendary El Dorado in California. In January 1849, Cherokee Nation's newspaper, the Cherokee Advocate, reported, "We have received through the New Orleans papers such accounts from California as leave little doubt that the stories of the mineral wealth of the country, however exaggerate, are founded in fact." The whole valley of Sacramento may be said to be one vast deposit of gold. All over the United States and through Indian Territory, people were emigrating west in droves in search of this shining promise of wealth. The first large contingent of Cherokee 49ers left in April of 1849, captained by Lewis Evans. As reported in The Advocate, they faced many hardships along their way. One traveler wrote home to advise other Cherokees to reconsider their desire for gold.
"I now want to say something for the benefit of our friends, who were wise enough to stay home in our happy country. That is to remain there contented, and never to think to come here to make a fortune easy. For should they come with all the good health and good luck that they could possibly wish, yet when they get here, the privations, troubles, and disappointments to be suffered will outweigh all the gold they dig."
But many Cherokees already had experience with gold mining in their homelands in the Southeast. And still other potential Cherokee prospectors hoped this was their opportunity to amass a fortune large enough to buy back their traditional territory that they had been forced to leave. So in spite of these warnings, another party left the Cherokee Nation the following year to find their fortunes. The young John Lowry Brown was a member of this faction, which called itself the Cherokee Immigrating Company. Brown recorded the happenings of each day in his journal, from the time he left present-day Adair County, Oklahoma, until the party reached the Northern California gold mines. It was midsummer in a creek near what is now Denver that Brown would inscribe "Gold found" in that journal. He later elaborates that, "We called this Ralston's Creek because a man of that name found gold here." But it was only a small amount of gold, and so Lewis Ralston, the man who discovered it, Brown, and the whole wagon train moved out in search of California riches. Beyond Ralston's discovery of gold, Brown's journal offers a unique first-hand account of a gold seeker's adventures. He describes encounters with Osage Indians, large herds of buffalo, plenty of signs of bear, and a snow-covered Pikes Peak. It traces the immigrating company's route out of the Cherokee Nation and onto the well-worn Santa Fe Trail to Pueblo in present-day Colorado. It was at this point the group turned north along the trail blazed by Captain Evans' party the previous year. This route from Pueblo to Fort Bridger, Wyoming is still known today as the Cherokee Trail because of the 1849 and 1850 Cherokee gold-seeking parties who popularized it. And it was their discovery of gold in Ralston's Creek that led to the Colorado Gold Rush a few years later, which led to Colorado statehood in 1876. Gold in Ralston's Creek did not pan out as plentiful as other areas in Colorado, but that area still bears Ralston's name, while other points along their route pay homage to the Cherokee trailblazers in search of a better life.
Let's talk Cherokee.
The Cherokee Syllabary is the writing system invented by Sequoyah. Each character represents a syllable in the Cherokee language. In this syllabary chart, the top row contains the 6 vowel sounds. The subsequent rows include the consonant sounds.
Tla,
Gla,
bat, tla me ha,
Glameha,
tla,
Tla,
mud, tla water,
Tlawotu,
tle,
Tle,
don't, tlesti,
Tlesti,
tli,
Tli,
bed, ganitli,
Ganitli,
tlo,
Tlo,
crying, atloyeha,
Atlohiha,
tlu,
Tlu,
Martin, tlu tlu,
Tlu, Tlu,
tla,
Tla,
eel, tla dega.
Tladega,
The fisherman caught an eel. Tla dega,
Tladega,
ganiya,
Gania,
na,
Na,
ashuni don,
Aslini Do,
The Cherokee National Youth Choir performs traditional songs in the Cherokee language. Each member of the group serves as an ambassador for the Cherokee Nation, traveling all over the country. Mary Kay Henderson is the choir director, and as you'll see, her deep Cherokee and musical roots make her an ideal leader for this group.
I listen to music to inspire me, to calm me down, to pump me up. Music is just a part of every fiber of my being. My name is Mary Kay Henderson, and I am the director of the Cherokee National Youth Choir. I was born in Muskogee at the Baptist Hospital to Maxine Alberti Harshaw and my dad, Floyd Allen Harshaw Jr. There was always music in our home, always. My dad would listen to country in the mornings, and when we would clean house, my mom would put on like Eddie Arnold and Nat King Cole, and there was always music in our home. My mom has a beautiful alto voice, and she sang in the choir, and so I grew up knowing how to harmonize before I knew the melody of a lot of songs. In 1980, Gary Chapman, who was on the council at that time, he said, "Have you ever thought about running for Miss Cherokee?" And I said, "Oh, no. I wouldn't want to do that." And he said, "Here's an application, fill it out, and let's see what happens." And I went and I won. I couldn't believe it. But that began my journey, really, with the Cherokee Nation. But I learned to sing Amazing Grace in Cherokee. And from that point on, I had a friend that was a little brother of a friend, actually, who started calling me after that, saying, "Miss Cherokee, you need to learn your language." He'd hang up. I would get so angry. I thought, I know Amazing Grace. I can sing it, you know. We ended up working together at Fort Gibson School. And he said, "For a Dr. Pepper a day, I'll teach you Cherokee." And I said, "I only want to learn the songs." He goes, "Well, you've got to learn what they mean." And I said, "Okay, deal." So we would meet every day for lunch, and we would go over Cherokee songs. And it was right after that I got the call that they were needing a director for this children's choir at that point. The Cherokee National Youth Choir, it began as a language initiative. In 2000, Jamie Geneva and Janice Ballou started working with students to sing in Cherokee. So in 2003, I was selected to be the director. Well, this is not something I do just alone. I couldn't do it without Kathy Sierra. She is our language specialist and our choir coordinator. First and foremost, she is a first language Cherokee speaker. And so she does a lot of our translating.
What has become my job really is teach the children or the students the language of what they are singing and who and what they're singing about. We want them to know the old songs that that maybe our ancestors brought over. We want to make sure we have those and save those for future people, for future Cherokees. But we also know we evolve into other music. That's what it was meant to be, was so kids could come in and have a place to learn a language in a way that they would want to. Music just makes it better.
We've been in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade featured as an artist twice. We also have sung for PBS. We've been to the Native American Music Awards and have won, I think, 6 now. We just returned from the Smithsonian's Cherokee Days that was held at the National Museum of the American Indian. We are ambassadors for the Cherokee Nation, sharing our culture and our language. We sing all in Cherokee except the last half of the Star Spangled Banner.
America, moving our hats and standing at attention as the Cherokee Choir performs our national anthem.
And we're teaching them culture and language, but we're also giving them life skills more so whenever you've had the opportunity to check in, to ride the metro, to call a cab, hail a cab. I think it's very important that the choir act as ambassadors. I think to put our youth out front, we are highlighting and showcasing the best of the best because I think our future is the brightest. Then it's even brighter than what we've had in the past. We have to invest in our young people and give them the tools to lead. Hopefully, I inspire the kids to do a little above and beyond what they would normally do.
We hope you enjoyed our show, and remember, you can watch us anytime online at Osio.tv. There is no Cherokee word for goodbye because we know we'll see you again. We say, Dodadago ha'i. Wado.